This week from GNC Week in Review, powered by GeekNewsCentral.com. Apple brings in M1. YouTube had a global outage, and a customer had a sideways misfortune with T-Mobile. Those are some of the tech news. Wow. Those are some of the tech news stories from this week, and it's Friday, November 13th, 2020. It's an unlucky day for me, this intro. My name is Kirk Corliss, along with...
I'm Scott Ertz.
And this is episode 76 of the GNC Week in Review podcast, part of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Thank you so much for tuning in for this week's episode. We are streaming live at gncweekly.com/live, as well as Facebook Live. So please be sure to say hello in chat or comment. Also, be sure to like and subscribe to the GNC WIR channel on YouTube. If you missed the live video, that's okay. You can always catch the replay later. If you are a new listener, please be sure to subscribe to the podcast, where you can find in the right-hand side column at gncweekly.com, be it Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, your favorite podcast app. If you have a comment, be it on social media or email, and all those links can be found at gncweekly.com/connect. A little bit of light news again this week, and election's over. We all know who won. But for some reason, there's been light tech news, or some things been going on which involves politics and tech, but it's very long and boring, so I didn't want to
yeah we don't want to deal with allegations of computers changing votes and
exactly
Facebook and Twitter screwing around.
Exactly. So that's why it's light for this week, but there is tech news nonetheless, and the top story this week was Apple's One More Thing event held on Tuesday. And the one big thing was Apple's M1. It's their priority chip that'll be powering the next line of Macs. The M1 is a 5 millimeter chip with nanometer. See, Friday 13th. I can't get my words right. Nanometer chip. Thank you. With 16 billion transistors, a 16-core neural engine to power machine learning capabilities, support for Thunderbolt 4, and an 8-core CPU and GPU. In terms of the processing power, the M1 has 4 high-performance cores and 4 high-efficiency cores that consume 1/10 of energy, reserved for lightweight tasks. Meanwhile, the 8-core GPU is the most advanced integrated graphics processor Apple has ever created. It's from Apple, and uses a fraction of the power of the leading PC chips.
And here, I hate it when they say that, because of course it's the most powerful one you've ever made, you idiots. You're not going to come out with a less powerful one than the last one.
Okay,
I may have frozen up.
You've frozen up. You're back.
It happened.
Okay.
I have Abrams problem on this show. For 30 seconds a show, I freeze up. I don't know why. But I hate it when Apple says that. They say it all the time. This is the most advanced iPhone we've ever made. Of course it is. Of course it is. It's the new one. Why would the new one be less powerful than the old one?
Right.
It's such a dumb thing to say out loud.
Well, that's where Apple's commenting, saying all this. Now they say that the new MacBook Air is 98% faster than PC laptops sold in the previous year, and 9 times faster than most recent Air. Speaking of Air, this one does not have a fan. It also has faster wake-up times, upgraded Retina display, and the longest battery life its predecessors. The Apple says the battery can handle 18 hours of HD video playback, 6 more hours than existing models. The 2020 MacBook Air costs $999 and starts shipping on November 17th, which is this upcoming Tuesday. Now, this is a price for a model with a 7-core GPU to get a version that takes the full advantage of the M1, that will cost $1,249. There's the MacBook 13-inch Mac Pro, saying that it's you're gonna love this, 2 times faster than the existing model, and even according to Apple, even 3 times faster than the best-selling comparable Windows laptop.
Well, I do appreciate that they make that qualification, that it's the best-selling comparable Windows laptop, because that means that it's the cheapest in the category.
Mm-hmm. Right. So they're really tooting their own horn.
Yeah. We're 3 times faster than the cheapest mid-range computer. Great.
Exactly.
My first gen Surface Book is probably 3 times faster than the cheapest mid-range laptop.
Right. Also, that supports 18 hours of wireless web browsing and 20 hours of video playback, and this one does have a fan. They're saying the M1 chip also enables machine learning power up to 11 times faster than existing Pro. The Pro starts at The Pro starts at $1299 for model with 258 gigs of RAM, 258 gigs of storage, and 8 gigs of RAM, and that figure climbs to $1499 for 512 gigs of storage. And this is available to order right now, and also hit stores on this coming Tuesday. There is the Mac Mini. It's also getting M1. This starts at $700. Apple's saying also, this is all from Apple. They're saying that it is 60% more efficient and 3 times faster than the 2018 iteration. This has a 6-fold increase in graphics performance and a 15 times increase in machine learning capability. The Mac Mini, comes into two storages. Or sizes, 256 gigabyte of storage and 8 gigs of RAM for $699, or 512 gigs of storage for $899. There's also the Intel version as well. No other announcements, no headphones.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They're still going to have an Intel version of that.
Right.
Huh.
And cheaper.
Okay.
Yep.
So I wonder if the Intel version is the last version. I wonder if they're going to maintain the old version.
Good question.
Or a slightly modernized, keep everything the same, but put a newer chipset in it, and sell it as the old model.
Right. Interesting. Well,
wouldn't be a bad idea.
Right, but also too, there wasn't really anything else announced. No headphones, no other iterations. It was just basically they were just going over those 3 things, and they were.
This is what I suspected.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I expected. The headphones were a far out idea. It was called One More Thing, and computers was the one more thing that I said on the last show. I'm like, it's going to be computers. 100%. We're going to see Apple powered computers. We might see headphones, and there's no way we'll see the AR glasses, but I'd like to.
Right.
I'd still like to, but
yeah. I mean, this was their 3rd announcement over the past couple of months. They announced the iPhone. What was it? Was it a few weeks ago or last month? Was it?
It's been more. It's been at least a month, because they came out in 2 batches, and the new batch shipped today.
Right. That's right. I'm getting my dates mixed up for some reason.
Yeah, we saw the iPhones and the iPads.
Right.
We saw the watch, the new home.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, it's the HomePod. Oh my God, I can't believe they're still trying.
Yeah, that was it. So, then hopefully, we'll see what happens in 2021 with only one event, and hopefully everything be opened up and we can see everything live, and fingers crossed. Okay.
In fairness, they do normally have at least 2 presentations, because they don't usually do computers and phones and tablets together. But we also don't see 3 events within a
2 months.
single breath.
Right. Well, usually their events at the Apple at the Steve Jobs Theater was like literally everything. Apple Watch, iPad. I mean, the phone. Excuse me,
phone and watch in September. Computers and tablets in May.
Right.
At WWDC.
Right. Okay.
Tablets and computers tend to be at WWDC. Phones and watches tend to be at the September event. Which they were not this year. They were in October, and one of the models didn't launch until the middle of November. So
I could have sworn
they've been all thrown off this year.
Okay, yeah, because I could have sworn one year they did announce literally iPad, iPhone, iPad. They went through the whole gambit for one. The product lineup from one into the other. I can't remember how long ago it was. I think it was like a year or two ago. They had that whole long. It was like an hour 45-minute plus event.
So sometimes if they decide to refresh the iMac, they'll do that at the September event. Basically, WWDC is for professionals and September is for consumers. So if they're doing a new iMac, you'll see that happen in September. If they're doing a regular consumer iPad, you might see that in September, but usually that stuff happens at WWDC, which I think is usually May-ish. They both got canceled this year, so
right. Hence the virtual. And when I was seeing the live, I actually caught the replay. I mean, it was impressively done, shot, and
the production's been bizarrely good. Like they've put way more time than they need to into it for sure.
Yeah.
I think that they've got people who are bored. And they've got literally nothing else to work on, and so they're just overproducing these things, which is fine. I mean, they're beautiful and fun to watch, but definitely overproduced.
Absolutely. And a lot of people are saying they're wanting more.
The drone bouncing around the campus and like crashing into the window, and boom, now you're inside. That's way overproduced. And the shot. Oh, the one shot where Tim looked like he was in a hallway, but the trees weren't moving outside.
Right. Yeah.
we were watching that, myself and some of the people at my client. We were watching it together and laughing. We're like, "Hey, do you see any trees moving? That's a weird static green screen shot. Well, couldn't they have set up a camera and just recorded for 10 minutes and used that as the background?" No.
And I noticed
use the still shot.
And I noticed the people on Twitter were like making fun of that, where they're thinking it's greens, the green screen in the background, and why isn't the trees? Yeah, but the trees not moving, and it's
that was my favorite.
Oh, but I was wondering, with this year when I caught the replay, when they opened up the doors into the cafeteria, like why opening up and like you're having a big event, and you're thinking it's going to be pomp and circumstance. It had a beautiful shot going in, but then the doors open and it's like it's the cafeteria. It's like what? What was that about?
Who knows?
Oh my goodness gracious! That was the funny part. That was the funny part when I saw them. Like, wait, what? Where am I? I'm in the cafeteria. Like, I wanted to, pick up an order to go. Yikes!
Sorry, that one hit me late. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry. See, this is all right. Moving on. Other news this week. And this was very disheartening for me, and I imagine a lot of people. Wednesday night, right around 7:00 Eastern time, for 2 hours, YouTube and YouTube TV was unavailable to its users.
10 minutes after I went off the air. We were done at 7. It went down at 7:10.
Right. Yep.
It wasn't my fault, I promise.
No, it wasn't. No, you know what? And here's the thing: when I was watching something on YouTube, it was doing the spinning wheel of death, and I'm like, All right. I refreshed the browser. I restarted. I literally did it the following steps: refreshing the browser, close the tab, reopen the tab, spinning wheel of death. I almost did it numerous times. Powered down the computer, rebooted it. I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's another video. Nope. Try another video. Nope. Nothing happened. So apparently, apparently the outage did not appear to have limited to any particular market or region. YouTube's team acknowledged the issue within 10 minutes or so of the spike on down detector, and YouTube TV chimed in an hour later to acknowledge that the unexplained issue brought it down as well. Just over 2 hours after the initial spike of user reports, Team YouTube assured users that the server was back online, though with no explanation whatsoever about what went wrong and how the problem had been fixed, either on its Twitter accounts or in the support thread open to keep users apprised of the outage status. And I was looking on Twitter for about maybe an hour, and there was a page full of people saying what happened, what's going on, and some people were complaining that their videos got pulled. But I was like, wow, that it spread like wildfire. And of course, I went to bed late, so after trying. So I was watching Amazon Prime the rest of the night.
I was scrolling through some of the comments, and it was a ton of fun to read comments like they're doing you a favor. A lot of people were saying you should adjust my bill for the inconvenience, which
I saw that one.
You're killing me. Come on. Prices go up. We lose Fox Sports, and now I can't even watch TV. Oh, I understand it. I can understand their frustration. I always call my cable company when I have outages, and make them credit me back for any time I was down. So I get it. It sucks. And technology sucks. And it's 2020, and
right.
It's just what it is. In addition, there wasn't a whole lot of talk about this originally, but YouTube Music was having issues as well. It wasn't just YouTube and YouTube TV. YouTube Music was struggling as well. Okay. It didn't seem to go down entirely, but it was definitely choked. So
I don't use YouTube Music, but I guess they're doing away with Google Music or
Google Play Music,
right? Google Play Music and going to So like I said, it's 2020. What else could possibly? What else could possibly go wrong?
Don't say that. It is Friday the 13th in 2020. Shut your mouth. It's actually funny. We sent out Terry sent out a Roboticon email earlier today that said, sorry to be getting to. Oh no, she sent it out yesterday. That said, sorry to be getting to you late. I'm gonna send out the full schedule of events tomorrow, Friday the 13th, which I'm sure means nothing. And I laughed. That was which I'm sure means nothing. Yeah.
Well, this is a very weird. See, this is why like when I botched up the intro and I'm like jumping over my words. Of course, I've done that before, but not in rapid succession over the past 20 minutes. So I'm hey, if I'm gonna jinx it, screw it. I'm gonna so be it.
Might as well do it.
Exactly.
Lean into it.
There you go. All right, very good. Also, in other news this week, now when someone says you can't always get something for free, well, apparently there's a customer this was reported on WCVB and TV in Boston, where basically a long story is going to be short. Apparently this couple received her husband, husband and wife. Her husband received a promotional text from T-Mobile offering their couple the chance to add a line to their account for free. no strings attached. And the wife thought it'd be a nice thing to have a separate line for work because she works in foster care. Her husband called ahead of time. They said everything was fine. It was a true offer. All they had to do was pay for the SIM card, and activation fee was about $30. She also said she also ended up buying a new phone, which was her choice, for about $500. She thought that she was going to be expecting the monthly cost of the line to be free based on her experience with T-Mobile. The customer service rep looked up at the account, said everything was fine. And then a few weeks later, they got their next bill. It was from $89 per month, but jumped to $147 that month. And T-Mobile was then charging them $30 a month for a new line, which wasn't free. The wife was very pissed, rightfully so. So she called T-Mobile, and she said that at the time the company told her that she did not qualify, or the plan that they had did not qualify a free line. And they said it was their mistake. They said T-Mobile said it was sorry. There's nothing we can do about it. So they're wondering why there was a plan, a 55 plus package, and apparently she was told several times that it was free. And then T-Mobile initially told the couple that they were out of luck. She couldn't take back the phone, and they only offered the line for free for 6 months. So she filed complaints with the FCC, the Massachusetts Attorney General, and also WCVB-TV News Center 5. So when News Center 5 contacted T-Mobile, the company offered to pay off the balance of the phone she had in her plan, saving the couple about $300. The company also took down the price of the new line down to $10 a month, still not free. So this story ran for a day or two, and then T-Mobile responded to News Center 5 WCDB-TV and says that they now admit that the promotional offer sent to the couple and countless others apparently were sent in error because customers with 55 plus or military packages don't qualify. And since since WCVB reported that story, they received a lot of emails from other unhappy T-Mobile customers across the country. The customers had a range of issues with T-Mobile, but had a common thread, a promo sent out by T-Mobile that didn't meet expectations. And T-Mobile says it's working to make the impacted customers whole, and they're also trying to reach out to the couple. And so if customers have been affected, they should file complaints with their state attorney general's office and the Federal Communications Commission. Now, for someone that works for a company that, companies are told employees like myself about not necessarily policies, but things that are for customers, and we have to follow them. So this customer, basically the customer did everything right, reached out to several times different representatives. They told them they were told they were fine. So I don't really blame the representatives because they're doing as they're told. I blame, in this case, T-Mobile, because and a lot of times these promos, you don't read the fine print and the customer somehow gets screwed.
Yeah. So there's a couple problems here. And this is based on old knowledge because I haven't sold T-Mobile devices in like a decade, but I can tell you that the last time that I did, T-Mobile's activation system was terrible. And in fact, did not give salespeople a warning that if you were adding a promo that wasn't compatible. I have sold all of the major companies at one point or another, and I can tell you that AT&T's, Verizon's, and Sprint's systems, if you try and add a promo that isn't compatible, it will let you know. T-Mobile's did not. And I suspect that might be part of what happened here. Because the reps, they come in, look, I got a text message that says I can get a free thing. Great, let's give you the free thing. They don't, but the system doesn't tell them that they don't. Now, in fairness, if you work for T-Mobile, you know that their system is garbage. And so I can tell you that anytime I printed out a contract before I marked it as signed in the system, I read it in detail. I knew
Mhm.
all the places that were adjustable, and I looked to make sure that the system hadn't just lied to me. But I know not everybody is necessarily diligent in the stores because they get busy.
Mhm.
But I think there is obviously plenty of minor blame to go around here. I think but it all stems back to faultiness on T-Mobile's side.
Right. Yeah, and because again, a lot of times when with the company that I work for, when I'm dealing with customers and they want to know certain things, and we explain it to them, but also too when they want to order something, again, a lot of things that they'll say even on TV when they put when they show something that it's like $100, but on the bottom of the screen in really tiny, tiny small print. If you look at it, well, obviously, if you look at it really close, you'll go blind on TV. but but if you look really, really close, it'll tell you, excluding sales tax, federal tax, blah 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 blah. So it's not. It's really. Yes, it's one price, but you're including all these other charges also.
Yeah.
So I always tell my customers, always read the contract very carefully. If you have any questions, call, but don't let the bill go, or, and if you're under contract and you're like, and if you want to leave, you have pay penalties on it as well. So
yep. Unless you get out within 14 days, which is too quick for a bill to come. Oops.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. So I recommend due diligence when if they to double check, make sure. But also in this instance, I mean, blame is sprinkled throughout. But I think that if the representative is looking at information presented to them, then
and a system that refuses to counter that information.
Exactly. So always so hopefully this couple gets things excuse me, straightened out, and so if there's anything, so we'll have the story up and link up in the show notes that you can check it.
I think this is an easy case for them to win with T-Mobile, because T-Mobile sent them a directed text message,
right,
knowing the details of their plan,
right,
and they knowingly, whether it was an accident or not, they actively sent a misleading directed advertisement to these people's phones. That's T-Mobile's fault. That's false advertising.
Right.
I mean, Pepsi made a joke in a commercial and lost a false advertising claim and had to pay a guy the value of a stealth bomber. So if Pepsi could lose that obvious joke, then anything's possible. I mean, everybody knew that you couldn't actually redeem Pepsi points for a stealth bomber. But right. But the guy had enough points. The 30 Rock joke on that where he won Jenna Maroney was wonderful. And so timely, like 20 years later.
Right. All right. In Google News this week, staff writer Jen Thorpe with geeknewscentral.com is reporting that Google is announcing changes to Google's photos storage policy. Now, this may affect people who have posted a lot of photos there, but the change will not take place immediately. Starting on June 1st, 2021, any new photos and videos you upload will count toward the 15 gigabyte storage that comes with every Google account, or the additional storage you've purchased as a Google One customer. Google is saying, quote, "We know this is a big shift and may come as a surprise, so we want to let you know well in advance and give you resources to make this easier." In the same posting from the blog post, Google has clarified any photos or videos you upload in high quality before June 1st, 2021 will not count toward your 15 gigabyte of free storage. This means that photos and videos backed up before June 1st, 2021 will still be considered free and exempt from the storage limit. You can verify your backup quality at any time in the Photos app by going to backup and sync in settings. The Verge is also reporting that Pixel owners, which I'm one, will still be able to upload high quality, not original photos, bummer, for free after June 1st without those images going against their cap. The Verge also noted that it appears that Google hopes to influence people to switch from Google's Photos to Google One. The price starts at $1.99 per month for 1 gigabytes and has
100
gigabytes. Yes. See,
not 1 gigabytes.
100. Excuse me, 100. See,
one is singular.
Right.
Wouldn't be gigabytes.
Oh my goodness! I'm about to see again. I jinxed myself, and I'm going to keep going. 100 gigabytes and has tiers going through 200 gigabytes, $2.99 a month, 2 terabytes, $9.99 a month, and up to 30 terabytes, $149 a month. What a bummer.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing, and let's go all in with GNC right now. Todd always says the most expensive thing there is on the web is storage.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so anybody, and he tells people this all the time, anybody who's offering you storage for free will not do that forever.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, it's not going to work. I have a quote that I have used. We used to use it to talk about Metro PCS when they got started down here. People would say, "Oh, but it's so popular." Yeah, well, if I sold dollar bills for 90 cents, it's going to be popular, but eventually the dollar bills are going to run out. And that's what happened with Metro, which is why they sold to T-Mobile. It's what's happening here. The division has run out of dollar bills to sell for 90 cents. Mm-hmm. And so at least you're going to get to keep the 15 gigs for free. Yeah, at least they're not taking away the 15 and knocking it down to 5 like Microsoft did on OneDrive at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Because they used to give 15 and then drop it to 5.
Well, I have Google One, so and I have the 100 gigabyte, not 1 gigabyte. But honest, I don't really use. I have Google. I have a lot of photos on Google Photos. I'm not really as far as not losing the high quality. It's not really a big concern for me unless I was like really like a photographer, or something of that nature. Then yeah, I would be kind of bummed, about that. But I guess your mileage may vary. There's some people that enjoy having those high quality photos and videos. Some do not. So it depends on, which side that you roll.
Sure. And really $1.99 for 100 gig is kind of your default. Mm-hmm. It's what Microsoft charges. It's what Google charges. I think it's what Apple charges. It's a pretty standard price. Though I am still impressed that Google's still at 15 for the for the free account because Microsoft and Apple both cut that.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yep.
But this was inevitable. Because storage is expensive, and Google, just like Microsoft offering all their things early on with OneDrive, right? They were trying to get people to use it. Well, Google got people to use their thing. Now they're kind of locked in, and it's time to turn it into a business instead of a toy.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I have for the docs, for our intro and rundowns, I use Dropbox because I'm using stuff for GNC to if with any coverage for CES and stuff, I can just put it all there, and I'm still a happy puppy because I'm not using a whole bunch of storage for it. So
makes sense.
yep. All right, very good. Okay, other news this week: the number of broadband power users, so these are people who use 1 terabyte or more per month, has doubled over the past year, ensuring that ISPs will be able to make more money from data caps. In Q3 of this year, 8.8% of broadband subscribers use at least 1 terabyte per month, up from 4.2% in Q3 2019. This is from a study released by OpenVault. Excuse me. OpenVault is a vendor that sells a data usage tracking platform to cable, fiber, and wireless ISPs, and has 150 operators as customers worldwide.
So it's their fault.
Right.
Okay, good to know.
Yep. The excuse me, the 8.8 and 4.2% figures refer to U.S. customers only. And this is from a spokesperson for OpenVault that told Ars Technica. More customers, exceeding their data caps result in more overcharges paid to ISPs. Isn't that great? That imposes monthly data caps. And we talked about what happened with a Comcast or it was Cox Communications, I think, down who went over their limit and slow down everyone else's speed. Higher usage can also boost ISP revenue because people using more data tend to subscribe to higher speed packages. OpenVault CEO Mark Trudeau said in a press release, quote, "As traffic exploded during the pandemic, data aggregated from our network management tools confirms the value of usage-based billing and prompting subscribers to self-align their speed plans with their consumption. This helps ISPs boost their average revenue per user. Customers of Comcast and other ISPs get a break from data caps for a few months this year when operators pledged to suspend the limits during the pandemic, but Comcast reinstated its data cap for cable customers on July 1st, and AT&T reinstated data caps on DSL and fixed wireless customers. Why? Surprise, surprise. Currently, AT&T is scheduled to reimpose data caps on fiber to the home and fiber to the node customers on January 1. Comcast did raise monthly cap from 1 terabyte to 1.2 terabyte on July 1st, so not all terabyte users have to pay overcharges. Well, isn't that lovely? Comcast also lowered the price of unlimited data from $50 to $30 a month, or $25 for customers who lease an X-Fi gateway. Without the unlimited data upgrade, Comcast overcharges are $10 for each additional block of 50 gigabytes. AT&T imposes monthly data caps of 150 gigabytes on DSL, 250 gigabytes on fixed wireless, and 1 terabyte on faster wireline services. OpenVault said the average U.S. broadband household uses 384 gigabytes a month, up from 257 gigabyte a year ago. The median figures were 229 gigabytes, up from 174 gigabytes a year ago. Usage increases happen every year, but OpenVault says this year's boost was fueled partly by the pandemic. So you have a tale of two tales, or stories, or a tale of two sides here. So the pandemic, everyone's working from home, increase the internet usage and gobble up data. Then you have the other side of the coin where you have AT&T, Verizon, I imagine, Comcast, and saying cha-ching.
all thanks to our friends at OpenVault.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I'm not gonna lie. I know I'm an odd user, and I'm fine with that. Mm-hmm. But a terabyte doesn't seem like that much data to
really
me. I'm fully aware that an hour with Avram, I use a little over 20 gig.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just for an hour of that.
Mm-hmm.
A terabyte is 400 hours of HD video if you were to stream it straight through. So 13 and a half hours a day ish, which is, I mean, not likely for most people to do just that. But, when you have more than one person in the house, all of a sudden that goes down to, 7, 6 and 3/4. And that's more likely. Now you've got 3, 4 people in the house that aren't leaving. Everybody's watching something. Now you're down to 3 hours per person per day. Whoa, that seems pretty doable.
Right.
I can see how that number's gone up.
Okay.
Double. I totally get that. And I'm certainly in that number already. I'm in that 4% from before.
Okay. Because I think that I probably, with my internet usage here, I think I'm about, maybe with the working from home. Yeah, I would say about the same. I think I'll drastically a lot, maybe a fraction from 8 months ago, or how long we've been in this working from home. I lost count and I lost track of days and time, and
yeah.
so I think, and I know that when I had to increase with Blueberry our hosting. So I think I had to pay additional for it because it was 400. I think it was 400 megs. So I had to increase the hosting, which hopefully. So yeah, I would think. I think I'll be that about right. And I think, I don't know, with this video, it's pushed. I'll have to look and see. I never thought of that, but I didn't think I'll be that much. But I'll have to look and see. Check.
It's interesting to take those numbers and start messing with them. I love to do that. So 400 hours of HD video seems crazy,
right
up until you have 4 people in the house. And you knock it down to 3 hours per person. Well, I'm by just myself, I've got at least 12 just of that with no other internet usage. So yeah, for sure I was in that 4% before this year. Luckily, I don't have data caps because Spectrum doesn't have data caps.
Right. No,
today.
Right. There you go. They got Verizon and ditto on knocking on wood. I don't have any data caps. Time will only tell. But
Frontier Fios is the same way. No data caps right now.
Something tells me that something tells me I'm not going to jinx it or anything, but something tells me that they're noticing other companies are have been posing data caps for the past few years. Something tells me it's going to happen. Not probably
maybe
in the future.
Maybe, but then there's the fact that it's so synonymous with Comcast, and Comcast is one of the 3 most hated companies in the country.
Yep.
So you take those types of things into consideration too. Do you want to be associated with a feature that is so synonymous with the most hated telecom in the country?
Right.
Maybe not. Maybe you want to stand out from them and show that you're better than they are. So.
Yeah. Dun dun dun. All right. Also this week, Amazon is recalling approximately 350,000 Ring video doorbells, the second generation that were sold through Amazon.com, Ring.com, and at third-party electronics and home goods stores in the United States and Canada between June and October of this year.
And real quick, let's clarify. That's home goods stores, lowercase letters, not the store home goods.
Right.
So just because you didn't buy it at that store, this could still apply to you.
Exactly. Yep. Just to get some clarification. Thank you. The company made this decision after receiving reports of 85 incidents tied to incorrectly installed doorbells, 23 of which involve doorbells igniting and causing minor property damage, in addition to 8 reports of minor burns. According to the Consumer Product Safety Commission, CPSC, excuse me, the video doorbell's battery can overheat if the wrong type of screws are used to install the device, posing fire and burn hazards. As a result, the CPSC advises that consumers immediately stop installing the recalled video doorbells. Excuse me, a spokesperson for Ring provided Fast Company with the following statement. Quote, "The safety of our customers is our top priority. We have and continue to work cooperatively with the CPSC on this issue, and have contacted customers who purchase a Ring video doorbell, second gen, to ensure they receive the updated user manual and follow the device installation instructions. Customers do not need to return their devices." So whomever has a second generation Ring video doorbell, we'll have a link up in the show notes to go to the Ring website. There's a phone number to call from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern time, 7 days a week. There's also the company's website, and we'll have a link in the show notes that you can fill out if need be.
So a couple of things here. The minor property damage is 0.006% of the unit sold.
Mm-hmm.
So it is definitely a statistical anomaly. So that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But cars get recalled for much lower percentages than that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 6.5 thousandths of a percent, which is statistically insignificant in normal situations. Obviously, there's fire damage here, so that's not insignificant. Interestingly, we talked about something similar to this on our Roboticon stream last night. One of the companies that's been using Amrock literally tested the product they were selling was burning out and having their scorch marks inside the body, and it turned out that the power port was a little too universal for the amount of voltage that it required, and so people were just plugging in the wrong charger and blowing them up. And so the solution was to update the manual. Exact same thing that Amazon's doing here. To update the manual. That was the solution there too. It won't prevent it entirely, but it definitely puts a legal barrier in there. You didn't follow the instructions. It's your fault. So there's at least a little bit there. And that's for those of you who don't read the manual. Here's the reason why you do, especially installation manuals.
Right. Good safety tip.
I've been doing a lot of smart home stuff lately, and I read even non-smart home. I put a doorknob on one of the push-pull rotates, and I read every step before I started to make sure I wasn't going to use the wrong screw or something like that. It wasn't going to work. And when I put my smart lock on, it was definitely every step to make sure I used the right screw, so I didn't accidentally, put a screw through a circuit board, which is my guess is what's happening here. Either through a circuit board or it's making contact and grounding out behind on the body. That's my guess.
Well, with me, when it comes to installing anything, I suck. So I will hire someone to do it. Because if I look at it, I mean, I do, when it comes to products, TVs and phones and things of that nature, I'll look at the. Speaking of which, I was programming Verizon 5's TV to, I can't remember what it was for, and it was my mom. One of our cats sat down on the remote, wiped out everything. So I had to take the remote and I had to figure out what happened The manual wasn't even like relevant at this point. So I had to find out the name of the brand of the model of the TV. I had to think there was like multiple codes to inputting.
Yeah.
TV.
Welcome to Universal Remotes.
So I'm like, okay, so I'm pressing how many buttons, then power up and down, and I'm like, Scott, it took me an hour.
Yeah, it used to take me an hour to teach people how to do that. They'd come in with their universal remote. I don't know what I'm doing. It doesn't work.
Right.
Did you program it? I don't know what you're talking about. All right, let me show you how this works.
Right. My mom's head was like ready, like or like about the smoke coming out of her ears, watching me plugging everything in. And finally, after an hour later, I said, "Screw this!" I'm like, "Let me go to the app. Okay, here's what it is. Boom, done."
I used to know all the codes for the Bright House remotes for Samsung TVs.
Jeez,
I knew them offhand.
There's got to be at least, from when I saw the manual for codes, it had been 200 different codes.
Oh, at least.
Oh,
there were 22 for Samsung TVs at the time.
Oh, it was like I'm looking at, I'm like, what in God's name am I doing? And I just went to the app. I saw exactly what I do, and I said, Kat, get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Huh?
He literally sat. I don't know how he did it. It's like, if you're watching the video, like, I'll give an example real quick. So this is, for example, with my phone, but this is kind of like remote. Sat it completely flat like this, and mashed. I don't know what buttons would he mashed on, and I had to literally like try to punch in all these different things, and I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like, Kat, like I said, get out. But there you go. Okay.
Yeah. And he had to hold him down for a few seconds, right, which is even better.
Exactly. All right. Awesome. All right. Other news this week, on Tuesday, AMC launched its private theater rental programs nationwide after its initial test program in October garnered interest from 110,000 moviegoers, which more than quadruple AMC theater rental requests in all of 2019. In its last bid to survive, AMC is now allowing guests to book a private showing for up to 20 people at any of its 600 theaters around the country for a starting price of $99. For new releases such as Tenet or The War with Grandpa, prices start at $149 plus tax, up to $349 plus tax, depending on location and theaters. The cost comes up to 20 tickets, but does not include food or beverages. As customers head back to the theaters, AMC says this program will, quote, stringently enforce the company's safe and clean policies and protocols. This includes mandatory masks and appropriate social distancing within the auditorium. This is according to AMC. Depending on state and local directives, some theaters may limit the guest count to fewer than 20 guests. Consumers can book private showings online by showings online or by using the AMC Theaters mobile app. However, AMC is saying rentals must be made at least one day in advance and are, quote, subject to availability at the theater. My AMC theater in Hamilton is officially closed. So I cannot go to that one. I have to go to one 2 towns over. And I'm not spending $100 or more, excluding food and popcorn, to rent a movie theater. Hard pass.
Why not? It's like $8 per ticket if you have 20 people. If you get a small group together, it's less than a regular movie ticket. And you don't have to deal with kids texting during the movie.
Good point. But again, that excludes the popcorn and the soda.
Yeah, so does a normal ticket.
That's also true. That's also true. Right.
I'm actually impressed by that price. I'm surprised it's that low. I understand they're just trying to pay rent at this point. And that, yeah, totally get that. Boop. I am on the website right now, checking what the price at my local theater would be. Let's see, 2 p.m. in Palm Harbor tomorrow. Continue. I could see the Minions, which is like 30 years old, for $99. The original Guardians of the Galaxy for $99. But Let Him Go, The War with Grandpa are $149. They got Toy Story for $99. Can you imagine getting a the original?
Holy crap.
Can you imagine getting a small group of friends together and paying less than $5 a ticket to own the theater to see the original Toy Story?
Or you can or you can have it in your house and charge.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get the
full
theater experience, but
right.
Some movies are just better on the big screen. Guardians of the Galaxy. Right. Let's use that as an example. Guardians of the Galaxy on the big screen versus the small screen is a totally different experience. So, right. I mean, for movie people, this would be great for small groups of friends wanting just something to do to not have to be home.
Right, to get out.
For less than $5 a person, you can have an entire private showing of Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm in.
Right. Yeah, and that's, I guess, that would
because it's a controlled environment, right? You know the people that you're inviting. You don't have to worry about who's going to be there, who's around you. You know who's going to be there. It's a controlled environment. That's very different than just going to a movie.
Right.
And I'm good with that. It's interesting.
Yeah, again, where I'm at, I'm in Hamilton, in New Jersey. It's I go there. We've gone there over the past few months. Actually, we haven't gone there. My wife and I, and pretty much anyone that I know hasn't gone there in about a year or so. But I'm not going to spend, because the nearest one is in West Windsor, so that's about maybe 25, 30 minutes away. So I can see, going, if I were to have 20 of my closest friends, but also my 20 closest friends wouldn't watch a movie from 20, 30 years ago when they can, watch it from home. But there's some movies, like, for example, which I will admit freely and willingly right now that I've never seen Star Wars from start to finish. So something like that.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yes. I would definitely.
Like I'm looking right now, one of my local theaters, I could rent on Sunday and watch Goldfinger. A James Bond film on the big screen, again, is one of those things. It's different than on the small screen. But yeah, I wouldn't watch Toy Story. But I mean, if you got a family or a neighborhood with a lot of kids, maybe you can justify that.
You just gave me an idea for movie night for me a couple of weeks at my house. So okay. Good. All right. I was thinking about doing that. So you had me on my right track of mind. Okay, cool. All right. So now I got to think about that. All right. Yeah.
It's an interesting idea. It's definitely not aimed at everybody.
No.
But when you look at the price and compare it to a movie ticket, which is a normal movie ticket, which is something that Avram and I talk about a lot. It's, I mean, for me here, for sure, it's less than a normal movie ticket. It might be closer to the same for Avram, where a ticket is closer to $15 a ticket.
Right.
But I mean, even then, if it's $15 a ticket, it's $300 for 20 people. It's $350. It's a little over, but again, you don't have kids texting in front of you.
Right. Exactly. But
and if you do, they're yours and you can hit them.
Right. And also too, and I kind of like let everyone on a little secret, sneak the popcorn, not sneak the popcorn, but sneak snacks in, because that's what my wife and I did.
If you do that, make sure that you take the trash back out with you, because
Yep.
employees can get in trouble and even potentially lose their jobs for not catching you.
Yeah, that's
So,
what.
take the trash with you.
Yes,
I don't
that's
have
what we
any
do.
problem with taking food into the theater. Just make sure you take the stuff back out with you.
Yeah, that's what. No, we do that. No, we do that. We literally like hide. We don't have like a big, garbage bag, but we have like small. We don't eat that much, but it's a lot. It's a lot cheaper because the concession stands. It's like, candy bars and things of that nature. They're spending additional, $10 to $20, in addition to the popcorn and. But yeah, that's so yes, definitely. If you're going to take it out, make sure to keep it hidden and have little baggies and then throw it out in the trash.
On Family Guy, Mayor West brought creamed corn to the movie theater.
Oh gee, oh my god, gross. Gross.
Adam West was the best.
Yeah, but he'll be sadly missed. All right. Other video news. Well, not really other video news. Oh my god, I suck.
We're going from movies to Warner. You're good.
Okay. Well, actually, no. I killed it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Never mind. I don't know what you're going to talk about.
No, I killed it because it's a very. Never mind. I'll tell you later. Hassan Minhaj, formerly the host of the now canceled Netflix talk show Patriot Act with Hassan Minhaj, will have a major recurring role in the second season of Apple TV. Apple TV Plus hit the morning show. Some people think that was not a hit, but according to Deadline, he'll play Eric, a charismatic rising star who joins the morning show team. His Minaj's role follows Netflix August cancellation of his comedy news talk show, which aired for 2 years and 6 seasons.
In quotes, comedy show.
Right. In appearing on the morning show, Minaj will be joining stars to the cast that includes Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Aniston, and Steve Carell. Apple hasn't released a release date for the second series of the series. I saw Patriot Act. To be honest, I liked it. I mean, it has some good and bad moments. But,
sure, like any show. I tried it a couple of times and I didn't enjoy him.
Mm-hmm.
I think his voice annoyed me.
Mm-hmm.
That might have been enough. But sometimes that's enough for me to be like, all right, I can't do this.
Right. No, I caught the first season, and then the second season I didn't really find appealing, but also too, in the same token, from what I understand, I think we talked about the morning show a while back, where they had some hit and miss reviews. So
it wasn't great.
Yeah,
it wasn't the show that the promos suggested it was going to be.
Right. You're right. You're right.
And honestly, I think Apple made a mistake in casting Steve Carell as a theoretical villain.
Mm.
He plays a good one in cartoon form, but as a human being, I think after Michael Scott, I think Steve Carell is too beloved to be able to play somebody who is universally hated, and so I think it was a casting mistake. Jennifer Aniston does a great job. Reese Witherspoon does a decent job, but I think Steve Carell was a poor casting, and that screwed things up. As much, I think he should be in everything. I love Steve Carell. I think in this role he was wrong.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I have to check it out. I still didn't see it, but
it's decent.
Okay,
it's decent. Don't go into it expecting it to be a comedy, because it is not.
Right.
Which Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Aniston, and Steve Carell in a TV show together, and it's not a comedy, seems like the biggest slap in the face possible.
Okay.
Since they're all known for their funny shows and movies. Trying to do serious stuff together was a weird move, but if you go into it knowing that it's a social justice story about dealing with the fallout of potentially realistic and potentially libelous sexual harassment accusations. Essentially, it's the story of Matt Lauer.
Oh, okay.
It's the story of Matt Lauer. If there was a possibility that it wasn't a true story, which with Matt Lauer, there was no possibility. He had a button under his desk that locked his office from the inside.
Right.
There's no way that's a fake story.
No,
everybody has always known that Matt Lauer was creepy. But if you take that idea and add to it, the controversy over how easy it is to get somebody fired with making a false accusation, that's the show. So if you go into it knowing what you're about to watch, it's pretty decent. If you go into it thinking, yay, Jennifer Aniston and Steve Carell, you're going to be disappointed.
Okay. All right. That's good. That's a good safety tip, because I heard of the reviews and I didn't think it was a comedy. I thought, and I think we talked about it before, it's not the one I liked when I know you mentioned to me about was The Newsroom. It's not The Newsroom.
No, it tries to take on the serious tone of The Newsroom without accomplishing it.
Okay.
Because nobody can write that story like Aaron Sorkin.
True. right about that. All right, very good. All right, and finally, this is on the other side of the spectrum of not food related, not anything. Well, I would say this might be weird, and I didn't know this. Apparently, there's always been luxury phones, and I didn't know there was a company called Virtu.
Really? Oh, they're one of my favorite companies of all time.
Oh, okay. I
because they're bonkers.
Okay. Well, this was from this is from Nokia's Ultra Premium division, and there's a one of their former design chief, Hutch Hutchinson, has founded a company called Eggsor, and it's spelled XOR, pronounced Eggsor. Some of these company names are just like really like bizarre beyond belief.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I don't do what Todd does, and I make the guests at CES introduce themselves and their company, because stupid stuff like this pops up.
Exactly. So they're coming out. The company, this is not available in the US. This is overseas.
It always is.
Right. So the company's new first handset or luxury phone is the Eggsor Titanium. Because apparently it has a titanium chassis. Now get this, it only offers calling over 2G and 3G and text messages. That's it. There's also an air quality sensor. Whoopee. Supposedly
weird.
Right. Supposedly it's coming with active noise cancellation, and each handset supports wireless charging. Also, this is basically, it's either the money equivalent is £3,000 or $3,942. Supposedly coming out this year. The Eggsor Titanium will arrive sometime in the first quarter of 2021 for around £3,000 or $3,900. And if you guys are watching the live video right now, I'm going to bring up the phone. And if you're watching live, I'm going to zoom in. Whoop, 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 whoop. And whoop, there we go. Okay, if you're watching the live video, this is the phone. And if you're listening on audio, I guess it's an ad. Whereas
it's a candy bar phone.
And yeah, titanium. If you're listening on audio, I'm showing a picture of an ad, or I guess an ad for a woman's right hand with nail polish on a car dash with the gear stick here. Yeah, and That's what it looks like, and I'm scrolling up, and this is what it looks like in the front. So yeah, 3,000 pounds or $3,000, or $3,000. Wow.
Yeah. So okay. So anybody who knows anything about Virtu,
Okay. Good, because you have to school me because I never heard of it.
if you're not aware of this bonkers company, and it really is, it started as a division of Nokia
Right.
long ago, and they took phones like the N95 and the Engage and things like that, and they would cover them in gold and diamonds and weird, unnecessary nonsense. And it's what prompted a couple of other companies to get started, and a lot of them got started from people within Virtu, of doing like the Lamborghini licensed phones, and the company that puts diamonds on iPhones and sells them for 40 grand. And really, you only have to sell one and made your money back. But Virtu started all of that nonsense. They stopped doing Nokia phones. They started doing other things for a while. There were some BlackBerry ones from them, but then they started making their own phones. And obviously that's where the interest got lessened, because who cares about some no-name company? You want an iPhone with diamonds. I mean, obviously, right. Don't we all? So it's not surprising that somebody would leave this weird thing and create another identical weird thing. Because I mean, that's what we're talking about. I think the Virtu signature, I'm trying to think the last time I saw like a legitimate price on one. I think I remember it being in a similar price range. Like, you have to find them in boutique stores. Mm-hmm. Nobody has prices. Like, you have to contact them. It's all so freaking weird. Mm. It sounds like that's going to be the same case with this other company, which is just Virtu 2 with an equally dumb name.
Well said. And dumb name being that it was a separate company called Exor. But also what find me odd is that if it's a luxury phone, wouldn't you like I said, diamonds, but it's only 2G and 3G calling and text messaging, and that's it. And you're lucky if it's going to charge. I mean, that's like...
Isn't it weird that there's a phone with 2G calling and Qi wireless charging? Isn't that a bizarre pairing of features?
Yep.
I don't even know what to do about this. The thing looks strange. Mm-hmm. There's like the front, it has buttons, which alone is weird. I think anybody who watched Parks and Rec remembers Aziz Ansari seeing Ron Swanson's phone and going, "Ooh, is that buttons? Gross." And there you go. This thing has buttons. It is absolutely designed after like a 2005 candy bar phone. But nothing's labeled, because my guess is those are all individual little screens above those buttons that turn on. I would bet money that above each one of those, your number buttons, where you can't see the numbers, I bet those are all LCD screens. They're trying to justify the stupid $4,000 price.
Right.
Yeah. This is a $25 AT&T Go phone that has been souped up beyond belief. Mm-hmm. This is a track phone on steroids.
No. and it's shiny.
It's titanium, so it'll survive re-entry.
Right, there you go. There you go. There you
So
go.
dumb.
And that's why this is the odd. This is the final segment. There you go. No food this week. Nothing related to food. No McFlurry machine. Nothing. Working on the rundown. And I'm like, you know what? What the hell?
Is the back of it leather?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yep.
It's so dumb. Oh my god.
But I think that might be a MacBook Pro right there. So there you go. Okay.
Well, yeah, they know who their target demo is.
Right.
Yeah, that's definitely a MacBook.
Yep. All right.
Interestingly, the reflection of the computer on the desk is not of the same computer that is on the desk, because that has a USB port in the wrong place and an HDMI port in the wrong place. Those are not the same computer. Why is the reflection a photo of another computer?
And that leaves us guessing. And that will leave us. And that is the very brief tech news for this week. And I apologize for Scott for killing that one story because it's long and the other one was really, really long. So, okay. Anyway. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right. With that, that is the tech news for this week for Friday, November 13th, 2020. Thank you so much for tuning in for this week's episode. Show notes from this episode can be found at gncweekly.com. Also, be sure to check out the latest tech news and commentary from geeknewscentral.com, and be sure to tune in Mondays and Thursday evenings at geeknewscentral.com/live for the Geek News Central podcast, and then be sure to watch and tune in at gncweekly.com/live Friday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So please be sure to like and subscribe to the GNCWIR channel on YouTube. Also, make sure to click on a bell and select always for notifications so you'll not miss the next episode, especially the intros and all the other foibles that happen this evening. Or be sure to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast app. And be sure to tune in with Scott and Adrian Pilch on F5 Refreshing Technology Sunday evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern at f5live.tv/join us. I'm on Twitter. I'm at Kirk Corliss. Scott is at TTTMABO. Till next episode of GNC.
Before I let you go, real quick.
Yep.
I've been trying out Parler, the new social network, just because I'm curious about it. If you're on Parler, my account is the same, TTTMABO. Follow me over there because I'm exploring this weird Twitter replacement. It's very interesting. And
that was discussed about on Todd's episode. So I'm going to do that when we get off here. All right. Until next time, the GNC Week in Review podcast. So long.